broadcast high school athletics
online
from Portland's West Side.
We are Westside Mobile Media,
Banks, Oregon.
Banks Braves High School Athletics on Westside Mobile Media, presented by Jason Bond Remodeling. Also brought to you by these fine sponsors: Jim's Market, Sarah Hesselman Keller Williams Realty, Wana Credit Union, Banks Post Newspaper, Econo Fab Pole Buildings, GorgeNet Internet Service, Christy Van Meter at Caliber Home Loans, LaHaye's Custom Embroidery, Main Street Pizza, Oregon National Guard, Scoggins Creek Coffee, and Specialty Screen Printing. Now here's the play-by-play voice of Westside Mobile Media, Trevor Beard, alongside color analyst Jonathan Lee. Good evening and welcome to another edition of Banks Lady Braves Volleyball, where tonight the Braves are hosting the Riverdale Mavericks. 4 teams competing for 3 possible playoff spots out of the 3A Coastal Range League. Right now, Yamhill Carlton and Corbett tied atop the league at 5-1. Banks and Warrenton tied for third at 4-2. Tonight, the Braves host the winless Riverdale Mavericks in league play. Just 2 wins overall on the season, an overall record of 2 wins and 11 losses. Banks swept Riverdale to open league play back on September 6th. They run that was part of a 4 straight winning matches for the Braves to open the season. And shortly after that, Braves lost 2 in a row and had a little bit of a down spell. But tough league this year with Yamhill Carlton and Corbett, always good in girls athletics, and expect the same from them in basketball. Corbett also dropping down along with Banks this year for other 3A sports. Corbett last year competed in the state basketball quarterfinals, and I believe went home with either a 3rd or a 4th place trophy, so expect another battle for winter sports and girls basketball with the Braves and Corbett. We're going to take a short break and take care of some public address duties, and we'll be back shortly following the national anthem with the first serve between the Banks Braves and the visiting Riverdale Mavericks of Southwest Portland. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. And we're set for the first serve between the Riverdale Mavericks and the Banks Braves. OSA 3A volleyball at Banks High School, located about 25 miles northwest of Portland. If you're not familiar with Banks, you've driven past it many times if you're familiar with Highway 26. Riverdale will be in their navy blue uniforms with gray and two different shades of gray trim, gray numerals with white trim. Riverdale in silver or gray lettering across the shoulders. Black shorts. Braves in their home white uniforms, pointed font lettering across the back. Banks in very small lettering above Braves. Navy blue numerals on the front and back with white long sleeve uniforms. Long sleeve uniforms for both teams. Picked the wrong time to get a case of the hiccups. Football broadcast tomorrow night will be a little bit different as Banks will have the night off. One of two schools this week to have a win via forfeit for a Mazama, which Banks played in the 4A quarterfinals last year for football. Also won by forfeit after Ashland dropping down from 5A to 4A only. Had an issue with 15 players out due to illness and had to forfeit their contest against the team from Klamath Falls. Our broadcast tomorrow night will be number 6 Warrenton at number 9 Yamhill Carlton. The winner of that game will likely stay in the hunt for the top spot in Coastal Range or a 3A District 1 football. First serve from Riverdale, number 7, Kendra McPherson is long. 1-0 Braves with the first point to start tonight's match. Serve from Haley Evans. Evans sets up Walker at the front of the net, blocked. Van Aken to Evans, back to Van Aken, far side. Killed too much, right between the libero tonight, Hallie Shearer, and number 11, Ellie Weiss, and the Braves holding serve with a 2-0 lead. Serve from Evans, far side back corner. Just like last night, having issues with the back row, and that time Thais Da Silva Corsi pops it up straight behind her, and Mavericks unable to chase it down. Banks on an early run to start tonight's match with the first 3 points. Coming off of a 3-set sweep last night, or Tuesday night, here at home against Rainier. Again, Yamhill Carlton and Corbett tied for first right now at 5-1. Banks and Warrenton tied for third at 4-2. Three of those 4 teams likely to, or will advance to the state playoffs automatically. 4-0 Braves. Evans still holding serve for Banks. And Van Aken's kill shot that time. This is just wide, angling it from the right side of the front row to the near back corner. Near side is the north side, the visitors section of Banks High School gym. 4-1, Riverdale now on the board after Van Aken missed deep and wide, and the serve for Riverdale that time comes up long, and quick side out back to Banks up 5-1. Early substitution for the Braves, Ava Bogroff coming in for Jordan Maller. Bogroff will serve. Picked up by Riverdale, Da Silva Corsi, returned by McPherson. Right side of the back row, Bogroff. Evans punches it across the net. Returned by Hallie McCarthy, and it's going to be long. 6-1 Braves in the first set. Again, Riverdale only 2 wins on the season, winless in league play. Their 2 wins have come against non-league opponents, 2A Faith Bible of Hillsboro and De La Salle North. of Northeast Portland. Walker, ooh, off the face of McPherson. Thought she may have been hurt for a moment, but she bounces back up quickly. Madison Walker, nice job of sportsmanship that time, checking to make sure she's okay after they don't call it a kill for nothing. That kill didn't nearly kill her, but definitely knocked her to the floor as it bounced off her face, and it's now Banks 8-1. And we have a timeout. Riverdale just totally overmatched, and Banks in control early with an 8-1 lead. Likely a 3-set sweep. Should be a quick broadcast tonight for the Banks Braves. We'll take a 30-second break and be back after this from our presenting sponsor, Jason Bond Remodeling.
Want to give your kitchen or bath a fresh new look? Jason Bond Remodeling has over 20 years experience fabricating and installing stone countertops and can upgrade your home with the countertops of your dreams without the dreamy price tag. They pride themselves on quality and customer satisfaction. They also offer cabinet installation and will do their best to beat any bid by 10%. Based in Washington County and will service most Portland area locations. For quality kitchen and bath remodels, call Jason Bond Remodeling at 503-430-0145.
And we're back following the Riverdale timeout. Banks with an 8-1 lead in the first set, looking to stay alive in a 4-team race for 3 teams to the 3A state playoffs in a couple of weeks, which we were told yesterday would actually be taking place at Springfield High School for 3A and 4A. Returned by Riverdale. Evans sets up Janasek near side. Riverdale unable to chase it down. Off of De Silva Corsi. Far back corner. Ball goes over near the southeast entrance to the gym. Banks High School gym runs east and west. Banks on the west end of the gym. Teams no longer switch sides since the COVID restrictions of a couple of years ago. 9-1 and now quickly 10-1 as the return from Riverdale again is just long, aiming for the near back corner, and it's 10-1. Bogroff holding serve for the Braves, and McPherson probably should have let that one go, but Riverdale is able to come up with the return. Saunders to Evans, back sets to Bogroff, and sliding to her knees, De Silva Corsi makes a great play, but can't get out of the way in time. And nobody from Riverdale unable to pick it up after the second contact, and it's 11-1. Or after the first contact. Serve again from Bogroff, McPherson. Skolich sets up Jaden Pridemore, but it's blocked the right side of the front row by Van Aken, and it's 12-1. Braves in control in the first set. And Riverdale finally gets the side out after a communication issue in the back center of the Braves defense, and still Braves with a convincing 12-2 lead. Uncle Sam night at the student section of Banks High School. The serve from the redheaded Haley McCarthy. Van Aken popped up by McPherson for by McPherson. De Silva Corsi saves it. Returned by the Mavericks. Evans sets up Walker, center of the front row. It's blocked, and it goes off the tip from Olivia Skolich, and it's going to go out of bounds. Riverdale unable to do much with it off the block, and it's 13-2. Momentary substitution, or momentary timeout at the scorer's table for the near side official. The serve from Madison Walker this time misses by a couple of feet long, and too much mustard on her hot dog at lunchtime, and Riverdale with another rare side out, trailing 13-3. Serve from Skolich. Bogroff dives and comes up with the return on the first hit. And Riverdale finding a nice spot in the back row after the Banks defense had scrambled up to the front of the net, and Riverdale with rare back-to-back points, trailing 13-4. Skolich again, student section I think, caused that one just as she tossed the ball in the air to make contact. Chanted USA, and it's back to a 10-point lead, 14-4. A lot of red, white, and blue attire in the student section, an Uncle Sam hat, and some patriotic garb in the student section tonight. 15-4, Braves with a commanding lead in the first set. Taylor Van Aken serving for the Braves. Again, this is just about 6 or 8 inches long, side out back to Riverdale, trailing 15-5. Pridemore, long underhanded serve. Janicek pops it up. Evans, center of the net. Saunders comes up short into the top of the net. Side out back to Riverdale, 15-6. Pridemore moves over to the far side for her serve. Evans sets up Janicek. Back row, and Shearer plays it. Probably should have let it go. Riverdale able to chase it down, don't come up with the return. Saunders dumps it over. McPherson gets it back on the return for Riverdale. Janicek again, but Riverdale is there for it. And over the top, De Silva, Corsi, Evans with a backhanded return over her head. Returned by Skollich for Riverdale. Evans, center of the far side to Van Aken on the return. McPherson back across the net by De Silva, Corsi. Evans sets up Saunders, and too much for Allie Shearer. It's going to go into the bleachers. Into the game for the Braves. Jordan Maller, number 5, replacing Bogroff for the Braves. 16-6, Banks back to a 10-point lead. Serve from Katie Rains is just long, and Riverdale back within single digits at 16-9. Or 16-7, 9-point deficit. Allie Shearer, the libero tonight for Riverdale, despite not being her listed position, and the serve from her is long. It's back to a 10-point lead for the Braves. Waiting to come in for Banks, number 11, Chesney Lovelady will replace the senior Alex Saunders. Banks, the 2015 3A state volleyball champions, our first season over sisters at Forest Grove High School. And the serve from Lovelady is way wide to the near side in front of the Riverdale bench. Side out back to, almost said Dallas, the Riverdale Mavericks, trailing 17-8. Serve from McPherson is picked up, dumped over by Jordan Maller. Riverdale scrambles defensively, able to come up with the return. Evans sets up Van Aken across the net. Pridemore. Riverdale comes up with the return from Hallie McCarthy. Coming up short, Madison Walker, back-to-back points for Riverdale, within 8 at 17-9. Student section comes alive after Riverdale making a little bit of a run, and they extend it. Now trailing 17-10, and their bench and fans acting like they won the state championship. Serve from McPherson. Van Aken to Evans, back sets, swing and a miss. And don't know how she does it though. Surprise kind of overhead returns behind her back and right down the line. Swing and a miss for Riverdale, and that will end the Mavericks' 3-point run back to an 8-point lead at 18-10. And Haley Evans restarting the service rotation for the Braves. Swing and a miss for Jaden Pridemore. 19-10 off the ace from Haley Evans. We have another timeout, Riverdale, 19-10. Banks in control. It says the second set, but it's really set number one. Main scoreboard didn't get updated after the JV match. We'll take a 30-second break and be back after this from Sarah Hesselman, Keller Williams Realty.
Thinking about buying or selling a home? Sarah Hesselman, Realtor with Keller Williams Realty, will help you with your real estate needs. Call 503-313-0748 or email Sarah at sarahhesselman.com. Serving your community daily and proud to support the starting lineup of your bank's Braves. Sarah Hesselman, Realtor with Keller Williams Realty. Call 503-313-0748.
And we're back, 19-10. Braves a 9-point lead after the Mavericks timeout. Riverdale had scored 3 in a row to cut it to 7 at 17-10. Banks has answered with 2 straight, leading to the Riverdale timeout. We're now back. Serve from Haley Evans, too much for Jaden Pridemore, and it's 20-10. Banks doubling up on the Mavericks. And the serve from Haley Evans short. De Silva Corsi comes up to get it, returned by Skolich. Dug out by Raines, back row. Evans to Maller. And popped up nearly into the bleachers, but De Silva Corsi saves it, and it's returned by McPherson for Riverdale. Van Aken down the line. This is just by a couple of hairs, maybe an inch or two, and it's 20-11. I think Riverdale's got to be happy if they come up within 10 points on any of these sets in tonight's match. Riverdale with the return over the top of the Braves wall. Evans to Raines on the return. De Silva Corsi, McPherson the back set to Skolich. Lovelady misplays it, but Evans chases it down near the back wall. Braves able to come up with the return. And again, back-to-back points for Riverdale. Trailing 20-12. Serve from De Silva Corsi. Evans on the return. Shearer to McPherson. De Silva Corsi out of the back row gets it across for Riverdale. McPherson saves it near side. Skolich gets it across. Evans back to Van Aken, far side. It's across for the Braves. Skolich sets up McPherson. Too much. That one's going to go all the way to the basketball end line, and it's 21-12. Banks back to a 9-point lead. Ava Bogroff for her second turn at serving in the first set, and that one is going to go just long, and Riverdale, if they're able to stay within single digits, they've got some confidence. Still down 8, though, trailing 21-13. Serve from Hallie McCarthy, far side. Evans sets up Van Aken and finds a spot in the back corner of the back right corner. Banks back up 9 at 22-13. Madison Walker rotates back to serve. De Silva Corsi, McPherson Returned by Jaden Pridemore. Walker out of the back row. Evans sets up Saunders, dumps it over the top. Riverdale scrambling, and De Silva Corsi with a nice job to come up with the return. Evans far side sets up Van Aken, too much, and side out back to Riverdale as her return is long on the kill attempt. 22-14, Riverdale back within 8. Serve from Olivia Skolich is Janicek, plays it out of the back row. Saunders off the tip from McPherson, and Banks 2 points away from a first set victory, 23-14. Serve from Van Aken just inside the left side of the key. McPherson back sets, and late communication. I don't think she realized where she wanted to go with the ball. And by the time a Riverdale player had found it, Skolich was half asleep, and it's set point for the Braves, up 24-14. De Silva Corsi, McPherson, Skolich ready this time over the top, and it's wide into the student section, and that's going to be a set one victory for the Braves, 25-14 over Riverdale. We'll take a 2-minute break and be back with the second set in just a moment. You're listening to Banks Braves Volleyball on Westside Mobile Media, playing Riverdale, not Rainier. We'll get that fixed over the break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. You're listening to Banks Braves Volleyball, built by Jason Bond Remodeling on Westside Mobile Media.
Rankings are important numbers in determining Oregon high school playoffs. So are rankings when choosing a lender to help you with purchasing or refinancing your home. Our local community home loan expert, Christy Van Meter at Caliber Home Loans, is ready to help you win the day. Call Christy today for all of your home loan needs at 503-327-5302 or caliberhomeloans.com/kvanmeter. Christy Van Meter, NMLS number 1700271, state licensed in Oregon, an equal housing lender. All products are subject to credit and property approval.
Proudly serving our neighbors in Washington County since 1946, LaHaye's is your destination for locally made Letterman's jackets, custom embroidery for business apparel or a unique gift, and scouting uniforms and supplies. LaHaye's is on the corner of 3rd and Main in historic 4-1.
Banks Post newspaper is the official news provider of West Side's greatest hits. Listen hourly for West Side news from the Banks Post newsroom. Banks Post newspaper covers Banks, Manning, Buxton, Roy, and surrounding western Washington County communities. If you'd like more information on the Banks Post or want to pick up a copy, visit a local business today. You can also visit their website at bankspost.com or their Facebook page, Banks Post.
Do you or someone you know own a business? As a local business ourselves, we know how important daily operations are, which is why we offer small dollar business loans for equipment, building upgrades, machinery, and more. The credit union even provides employee benefits for business members. Learn more at wanafcu.org or ask to speak with a commercial team member today. Again, to learn more, visit wanafcu.org.
And we're back. Getting the game title updated. Start of set number 2 between the Banks Braves and the Riverdale Mavericks of Southwest Portland, located right next door to Lewis and Clark College up in the Terwilliger Hills of Southwest Portland. Just as you start to come down the opposite side of Beaverton Hillsdale onto the Portland side. Haley Evans, a surprise service error from her to start the second set, comes up short into the net, and Riverdale with their first lead tonight. Serve from McPherson. Walker pops it up near side. Evans sets it back to Madison. Sets it wide, near side, near the Riverdale bench, and you give them any confidence, a winless team, and that's going to give them all the momentum, and Riverdale with the first 2 points in the second set. McPherson again the serve, comes up short into the top of the net, 2-1. Side out back to the Braves, and Katie Raines will come out. Bogroff will come in, replacing Jordan Mallard. Banks winning the first set, 25-14, trailing in the second set early, 2-1. The serve from Bogroff. Probably should have let that one go, but Hallie McCarthy plays it for Riverdale. Returned. Evans out of the far back corner. Van Aken chases it down near the student section. Returned by Madison out of the back row for Riverdale. McCarthy gets it back and comes up with the return. Evans sets it up for Janicek near side, off the net. Dug out by Walker, and we're going to get a hitting error on the Braves off the net, and Riverdale back to a 2-point lead at 3-1. Thais Da Silva Corsi from below the left block, left low block, left side of the key. We're going to get a hitting error on the Braves, and it's 4-1. I don't care how bad a team you're playing, if you're making too many mistakes, you're going to let the other team hang around, and Da Silva Corsi will get another chance at serve for the Mavericks, and Bogroff, too much for her, and it's 5-1 Riverdale. Da Silva, Corsi, McPherson, and Skolich, the top three players for the Mavericks, and they're up 5-1 in the second set, despite being winless in league play. Janicek, Evans chases it down, returned by Madison Walker. Da Silva, Corsi, McPherson sets up Skolich, and it's too much for Haley Evans, and Riverdale up 6-1, and I think the Braves are going to need a timeout pretty quick if they keep letting Riverdale hold serve. Long jump serve from Da Silva Corsi. Saunders has to go back on it to dig it out. Walker dives and goes under the net, and that's another error despite coming up with a return, and it's 7-1 Mavericks. Again, Da Silva Corsi, low serve. Janicek near side back row. Evans with the surprise return, and it's in down the near line, and Bogroff slams the ball back underneath the net, and we do have a timeout, Banks. Riverdale with all the momentum and all the confidence in the world that they can win a set, at least a set from Banks. They're up 8-1 in the second set, despite being winless in league play. We'll take a 30-second break and be back after this from Main Street Pizza.
Visit Main Street Pizza in Banks, located next to Jim's Market, for the best pizza in Washington County. From loaded hot baked subs to a Main Street special pizza piled high, we will satisfy your pizza cravings. We've been serving and supporting the Banks community since 1986. Open daily at 11 a.m. Call ahead now to place your order at 503-324-5858 or follow us on Facebook to see our daily lunch specials. Mention this radio ad and receive $2 off any Main Street pizza.
And we're back 8-1. Riverdale surprisingly with the lead in the second set. Banks had a lot of errors last year that cost them a couple of spots in league play. And Janicek, don't know what happened there, went down for the dig and just had it go off her mitts and rolls out of bounds. 9-1 Riverdale. Student section comes alive. Da Silva Corsi. It just long, didn't miss by much. And Banks finally gets the side out back, trailing 9-2. Madison Walker a couple of feet behind the Back right corner. Skolich with the surprise return, and they're going to get her for the hitting error on the surprise return. I think they're going to call it for a lift, and it's 9-3. Back-to-back points for the Braves, but in a deep hole. Madison slaps the ball to the floor a couple of times. Popped up by McCarthy, returned by De Silva. Corsi down the line. Bogroff dives and can't get there. Side out back to Riverdale, leading 10-3. Serve from Stella Banks into the match for the first time. Madison Walker down the far side. Van Aken with the return, and that bounces in front of Stella Banks. Set out back to the Braves. 10-4. Need to put a run together here and get at least get back into this within a couple of points and kind of make a couple. Don't have to get it all back at once, but definitely have to make inroads against this Riverdale lead with all that confidence. And there's another back-to-back for the Braves off the kill from Saunders. 10-5. Serve from Van Aken, popped up by De Silva Corsi. McPherson, Skolich didn't go for the kill shot and just lobbed it across the net, and Alex Saunders says thank you very much, and she'll take advantage of that for the kill, and it's 10-6 Banks on a three-point run. McPherson is going to get called for a hitting error. 10-7. I think we have a Riverdale timeout. Banks on a 5-point run, trailing 8-1 earlier in the set. They're now within 3 at 10-7. We'll take a 30-second break and be back after this from Scoggins Creek Coffee.
Scoggins Creek Coffee is proud to offer delicious hot drinks and delectable breakfast items too. Visit their 2 locations in Gaston and Yamhill Carlton. Open 7 days a week, Mondays through Saturdays until 5 and Sundays until 3. Make sure to ask about their weekly specials and visit their Facebook page. Scoggins Creek Coffee, 503-985-3483.
And we're back following the Riverdale timeout. 10-7, Braves with a 3-point lead. Taylor Van Aken waiting to get the go-ahead to start her serve as Riverdale makes a substitution. Coming in, number 12, Haley McCarthy, replacing Jaden Pridemore. Serve from Van Aken is an ace. De Silva Corsi let it go behind her, center of the back row. And very close. Banks within 2 at 10-8. Serve from Van Aken. Skolich picks it up. Pridemore returned by McPherson. Evans sets up Saunders. Down the line, near side, just inside, and it's Banks back within 1 at 10-9 after trailing 8-1 earlier in the set. Van Aken serve left side of the key. McCarthy, Evans, Riverdale able to chase it down and come up with the return. Evans sets up Van Aken, and too low on the attempt from Hallie Shearer, and it's going to go off of De Silva Corsi and out of bounds. Braves have come all the way back to tie it at 10 in the second set. Van Aken serve, McCarthy, De Silva Corsi to McPherson across the net. Van Aken to Evans far side, sets up Saunders off the top of the net. Skolich to McPherson, returned by Amelia Damiano, but into the top of the net, and Banks has come all the way back to take the lead at 11-10. Serve from Van Aken. McCarthy. Skollich sets it over the net, over the top of the block attempt of Alex Saunders. And Riverdale ending the Banks run to come back to tie it at 11 and getting the side out for Olivia Skollich. Serving from the center of the key, right below where the basketball hoop would be. Evans far side to Janicek. Skollich dives to keep it off the floor. McCarthy return over the head of Kendra McPherson. Janicek near side. Skollich dives down the near side to keep it alive. De Silva Corsi out of the back row on the return and misses just a little bit along, but the Riverdale fans and coaches are loving the effort, and Banks with a 12-11 lead in the second set. Katie Rains to start her serve from the left low block. And misses by about 10 inches, and again we're tied at 12. Can't let a team like Riverdale that hasn't won a game, that needs all the confidence in the world, hanging around off of unforced errors. The serve from McCarthy. Van Aken. Evans with the back set, over the shoulder return, catches Riverdale off guard with the second touch return, and Banks back with the lead at 13-12. Alex Saunders to serve for the Braves from the near corner. Angles it nice left to right, but it's picked up by De Silva Corsi, and we're going to get a hitting error on Riverdale. Nick Scambato has both his hands out, confused as to what the error was, but Banks now with their largest lead of the second set at 2 at 14-12. McPherson dumps it over, and Taylor Van Aken nearly rolls over the top of the ball. Got to be careful on that. Can easily roll an ankle or sprain an ankle that way, and it's 14-13. Riverdale back within one. They're not going away in the second set. Shearer's serve, Van Aken, near side back corner. Evans sets up Walker off the net, and tied at 14. And if Banks loses just one set of this match, it's going to hurt their ranking. Right now they're number 18, top 3 from each league, and then a wild card, the highest ranked at-large team among non-automatic playoff finishers will also get in, and Riverdale unable to come up with the return that time. Banks with a 15-14 lead. Riverdale and Niakani dropping down for moving up for volleyball. Not sure about basketball. Two of the worst ranked teams in the state at the 3A level, and the Braves are letting Riverdale hang around, tied at 15 in the second set. Riverdale had an 8-1 lead to start the match, or to start the set. McPherson, Kendra McPherson with the serve. Walker, Rains off the short serve. Van Aken blocked, partially blocked, but De Silva Corsi able to play it, gets it back from Shearer. Rains to Saunders, back row, got to get it across. Jordan Mallard does, and finds a hole in the in the far side back corner, and score changing hands quickly. Banks regaining the lead now at 16-15. A little behind on our scoreboard. The serve from Bogroff is an ace. Right down the back line, 17-15. Banks with their second 2-point lead of the second set, but Riverdale gaining in confidence as this match goes along, already exceeding their point total from the first set. Again, the serve from Bogroff. Short, not much arc on it, and Skollich can't handle it. It's going to go into the bleachers on the home side, right behind the net stand far side, and it's 18-15 timeout Riverdale. Banks with their largest lead of the second set, now up 3, 18-15 over Riverdale. We'll take a 30-second short intermission and be back after this from Specialty Screen Printing.
Specialty Screen Printing is the official non-apparel promotional product sponsor of Westside Mobile Media and have provided us with pens, stickers, magnetic decals, notepads, keychains, and recyclable grocery bags. Owners Ken and Linda Johnson have over 40 years experience to get the job done right. Locally owned and operated in Yamhill. Give them a call for your next screen printing project. 971-998-8274, 971-998-8274.
And we're back. Banks an 18-15 lead following the Riverdale timeout. Ava Bogroff holding serve for the Braves. Jaden Pridemore to Skolich, returned by De Silva Corsi. Bogroff to Evans, back sets to Van Aken on the return. Skolich across the net for Riverdale. Evans sets it up for Janicek, comes up racing to the net. And McPherson chases it down, returned into the back row by Skolich. Evans is there to Van Aken, sets up Madison Walker. We're going to get a hitting error on the Braves, 18-16. Jaden Pridemore comes out for Riverdale. Entering the match, Stella Banks. De Silva Corsi, low serve. Saunders. Bogroff misplays it and almost comes right back at us right in our face. Trying to keep the equipment safe. 18-17, Riverdale within a point. And it's an ace from De Silva. Thought it was an ace. Riverdale fans thought it was an ace, and apparently it misses just long. 19-17. Serve from Madison Walker, dug out by De Silva Corsi. McPherson, far side returned by McCarthy. Saunders to Evans, back to Saunders, center of the front row, and Thais De Silva Corsi keeps it alive, but it goes out of bounds into the Riverdale fans, and it's 20-17. Skolich back to De Silva Corsi, out of the back row. Madison Walker misplays it, and it's 20-18. Stella Banks gets the go-ahead for her serve. Janicek to Evans, sets up Saunders. Riverdale able to come up with the block, and McCarthy gets the return off the block of the Braves. Evans keeps it off the net, returned by Van Aken. De Silva Corsi digs it out to McPherson, returned by Damiano. Diving to the floor, and over, McCarthy jumped for it, didn't make contact, and it's going to be returned wide to the far side, and it's 20-19. Riverdale again within one late in the second set. And it's an ace for Stella Banks, and we're tied at 20. Again, the serve from Stella Banks into the back row, Bogroff. Far side, Van Aken gets it from Evans. McPherson to Skolich, back to McPherson, near side. Bogroff dives to the floor and gets it across. De Silva Corsi out of the back row. Evans dives, and Riverdale has the lead once again since they went on their big run to start the second set, up 21-20. Serve from Stella Banks. Janicek and Bogroff nearly come together. Evans sets up Van Aken, popped up by De Silva Corsi. To McPherson, back to De Silva Corsi. Bogroff, and it's going to be off the bottom of the net. Led Evans too far, and it's 22-20 in the second set. Riverdale, and we have a timeout, Banks. Riverdale winless in league play. Banks battling for one of three possible playoff spots midway through league play with Warrenton, Yamhill, Carleton, and Corbett, and cannot afford a loss to a team like Riverdale. Can't even really afford a set loss to a team like Riverdale with the ranking situation. We'll take a 30-second break and return after this from GorgeNet Internet Service Provider.
There's a new premier fiber internet provider in Vernonia featuring friendly and helpful customer service. Sign up with Gorge Networks today for symmetrical speed fiber internet, 300 meg or 1 gig speeds with managed Wi-Fi included in the low monthly price. No contracts or price increases. Refer a friend and get a free month of service. Make the switch to Gorge Networks today. Call 541-436-0223. You can also email us at sales@gorge.net.
And we're back. Riverdale with a 2-point lead at 22-20. Braves up 1-0, winning the first set 25-14, but Riverdale went on an 8-1 run to start the match, and I think the Braves kind of ran out of energy, just like Stella Banks did on that serve, coming up short into the net. 22-21, side out back to Banks, but do not give the serve back to Riverdale here and put the second set away behind Taylor Van Aken and De Silva Corsi late. McPherson returned by Hallie Shearer. Van Aken to Evans, sets up Saunders. McPherson chases it down near side, able to get it back in play. Returned by De Silva Corsi. Van Aken sets up Evans to Saunders, angled in front of McPherson, right to left, and we're tied at 22. Again, the serve from Van Aken, far side McCarthy, misplays it under the net, 23-22. Braves regain the lead late in the second set, and we talked about holding serve late, down 22-20, and 5 straight, just 2 more would put the second set away. Van Aken, McCarthy pops it up, going back for it is Shearer, returned by De Silva Corsi, and it's dug out and off the floor, but wide by Van Aken. And we're tied at 23, side out back to Riverdale. Skolich, jump serve, up to the line. Bogroff to Evans, sets up Janicek far side. De Silva Corsi to McPherson, sets up Skolich near side into the top of the net. And 24-23, Banks needing just one good serve, and hoping to put the second set away on this serve. And it's an ace. Skolich let it go behind her, and Banks comes back despite being down 8-1 in the second set, and trailing 22-20, come all the way back to win the second set 25-22, but have definitely got to play better than that when they go to Yamhill Carleton. One more tough match to finish league play. They also have to go to Warrenton, I believe. Already lost at Corbett and at home to Yamhill Carleton. So Banks now with a 2-0 lead, 25-14, 25-23. We'll take a 2-minute break and return after this from EconoFab Pole Buildings.
Hey Brave fans, this is Chris Lyda, the voice of the Braves, here to tell you about EconoFab Buildings. EconoFab is a third-generation family-owned and operated pole building company located right here in Brave Country. EconoFab has been in business for almost 50 years, constructing shops, garages, and barns. I had them build my 2 shops, and as a satisfied and repeat customer, I'm here to tell you that EconoFab puts the fab in fabulous. Go visit them online at econofabbuildings.com.
The Army National Guard plays a vital role in your community. We're on the front lines supporting essential personnel, first responders, law enforcement, and medical professionals, delivering food, supplies, and medicine, keeping communities safe, making a difference. During emergencies, we're always ready, always there. Learn more about part-time service in the Army National Guard at nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Oregon Army National Guard, aired by the Oregon Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Want to give your kitchen or bath a fresh new look? Jason Bond Remodeling has over 20 years experience fabricating and installing stone countertops and can upgrade your home with the countertops of your dreams without the dreamy price tag. They pride themselves on quality and customer satisfaction. They also offer cabinet installation and will do their best to beat any bid by 10%. Based in Washington County and will service most Portland area locations. For quality kitchen and bath remodels, call Jason Bond Remodeling at 503-430-0145.
And we're back, start of the third set. Banks up 2-0. 25-14, 25-23, but got all they could handle from Riverdale in the second set. Riverdale was up 8-1 and 22-20 late in the second set before Banks scored scored 5 of the last 6 for the second set victory. First serve from McPherson is an ace. Down the back row, and Riverdale up again in the third set. That time the serve from McPherson comes up short, and we're tied at 1, side out back to the Braves. Early in the third set, Banks hoping for a 3-set sweep against the winless Mavericks. Serve from Haley Evans, 4 and ace, 2-1 Braves with the lead. And serve from Haley is picked up by De Silva Corsi. McPherson chases it down. And Skolich unable to play it, trying to keep it out of the bleachers. Goes behind her, and Banks up 3-1. Style points matter when rankings determine league or determine state playoffs. The serve from Haley Evans. Shearer, returned by De Silva Corsi. Saunders out of the back row. Evans back sets to Van Aken, and that's too much for Jaden Pridemore out of the back row, and Banks a 4-1 lead. Serve from Haley Evans is low, a lot of power, and it goes off of Haley Shearer. 5-1, and I think we may have a timeout coming for Riverdale. Haley Evans to serve. Just left to the left low block, and McPherson to Shearer. Returned by De Silva Corsi. Walker to Evans. Surprise return off, or a set return over the shoulder off the top of the net. And Raines dives down the near side line and unable to keep it in play. Riverdale with the side out, trailing 5-2. De Silva Corsi jump serve. Katie Raines misplays it, but Evans able to do something with it, and Van Aken hits it into the bottom of the net. Again, Riverdale with back-to-back points after unforced errors from the Braves. And Banks still with a 2-point lead, but again, letting Riverdale hang around. De Silva Corsi, low serve. Raines hits it off her face. And it's going to stay with Riverdale, a 5. Trailing now just 5-4. Banks went on a 5-point run after Riverdale had scored on the first serve of the third set. De Silva Corsi, that time her serve is long and almost into the basketball end line, and Banks keeping a slim margin at 6-4. Headed to the bench, Jordan Maller for the Braves. Ava Bogroff will come in to serve. Left side of the key, Shearer makes a late effort, and it's too low. It goes parallel to the floor into the bleachers far side, and Braves up 7-4. Serve again from Bogroff to Silva Corsi to Skollich. Surprise backhand return, and Banks is ready for it. Bogroff knocks it across into a hole in the Riverdale defense, and it's 8-4. Serve from Bogroff. McPherson takes it away from Shearer, and she's not sure what to do with it and makes an effort on the ball late, and nothing she can do with it. It's 9-4. Braves now with their largest lead of the third set at 5. And Nick Scambato talking with the near side official about something. I think we're going to have an official's time. Maybe trying to check the rotation for Banks or something. And if Banks went on a rotation, that's going to be a point for Riverdale. And we're going to have a substitution for Riverdale. Selena Hardy will come in to replace Amelia Damiano. Braves principal, former athletic director Jacob Pence checking the scoreboard, and another ace for the Braves. 10-4 in the third set with Ava Bogroff holding serve. And that time she comes up short. Riverdale had a defense set up that would have only real spot to get it over would have been into the back row. 10-5, side out back to the Mavericks. Allie McCarthy from the far corner. And Boggroff into the bottom of the net. Evans keeps it alive on the second hit, but just barely. And Riverdale again back-to-back points, trailing 10-6. McCarthy, Boggroff far side to Evans. Keeps it off the net, returned by Van Aken. Riverdale head coach, I think, wanting a hitting error on the Braves. Evans, far side, returned by Van Aken. To Silva Corsi, to McPherson, back sets to Skolich. Evans out of the far back corner to Van Aken, far side, sets up Saunders. McPherson pops it up, and it's going to go between the near side net pole and the scores table. Side out back to Banks, leading 11-6. Serve from Walker is off the top of the net. Looked low, it was low, but just got enough air underneath it to get it across. And it's 12-6. And McCarthy pops it up. Damiano, Riverdale on the return. Evans maybe should have let that one go, but Braves play it, and it's knocked back across the net wide to the far back corner by, I believe, by Janasek, and it's 12-7. Riverdale back within 5. The serve from Skolich, near corner, far corner angled left to right to left, over the top by Saunders, off the return, and Pridemore can't get there on the front line, and side out back to the Braves. Back up 6 at 13-7. Van Aken serve. McCarthy to McPherson, returned by Damiano into the back row, just misses by about an inch or two, not very much. Madison Walker let it go, and the Braves now up by a touchdown. We have timeout, Riverdale. Banks up 14-7 in the third set, hoping to put this one to bed, although it has taken a little bit longer than we expected with a very competitive set two that goes all the way down to the just a 2-point margin for the Braves. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Jim's Market.
Jim's Market in Banks is an institution serving the community for generations. They're actively involved in events and athletics from the youth league to high school level. Let them serve you with their locally grown fresh produce, fresh bakery items, including custom cakes, and quick hot food from their in-store deli. Jim's Market, conveniently located at the south entrance to Banks.
And we're back. Banks a 14-7 lead in the third set. Taylor Van Aken moves over to the center of the key from the left low block. Steps up to about a foot behind the line. McCarthy. McPherson returned by Damiano into the far back corner. Van Aken sets up Evans to Janasek. Blocked at the net, but Braves recover. Saunders back to Janasek over again. And Damiano tried to set up McPherson, and she slipped and fell. And it's 15-7. Banks with their largest lead of the third set. Coming in, number 10 for Riverdale, Selena Hardy replacing Damiano. Van Aken again set up right between the low blocks. A little bit further deep this time behind the line, and too much for Skolich despite her size, and it's not meaning size-wise in a big way, just her height. And 16-7, Banks now starting to run away here in the third set. McCarthy returns it wide to the near side, off the serve from Taylor Van Aken, and it's a 10-point lead for the Braves in the third set. Van Aken, De Silva Corsi, McPherson keeps it alive far side. Returned by Jaden Pridemore. Evans sets up Saunders. And probably should have let that one go, but De Silva Corsi plays it. Nice job by McPherson. Nearly sliding into the scores table, keeps it alive, and Riverdale gets it across. McCarthy, after a surprise return from Haley Evans, 18-7. Her attempt goes into the net. I think we're going to get a substitution for both teams. In for Riverdale, number 11, Ellie Weiss. Coming in for the Braves, Chesney Lovelady will replace Madison Walker. Taylor Van Aken still waiting to get the whistle to serve. Riverdale kind of set up in an arc, and McPherson comes up short on the team's third attempt, 19-7. Van Aken, another low serve, dug out by Riverdale and returned on the first hit. Van Aken sets it down the line, far side, and really a lot further in than initially appeared. Riverdale just fell asleep, and it's now 20-7. Again, Van Aken. An ace in front of Ellie Weiss as it hits the floor, 21-7, right in the center of the Mavericks side of the court. Serve from Van Aken that time ran out of gas, but Banks well in control of the third set, and now the match up 21-8 after a hard-fought second set, winning 25-23. Jaden Pridemore from just in front of the end line, far side. Saunders, Evans dumps it over, but Riverdale ready for it. So Evans pops it up. The Braves able to get it across. McPherson chases it down, returned by Skolich. Evans far side down the line. Saunders across, right down the line, far back corner, side out back to the Braves, up 22-8. Jordan Maller will come in, replacing Bogroff. And also in for Banks for the first time tonight, Kendall Shook. 22-8. Banks about to sweep Riverdale, but match was a lot closer than what we thought, especially in the first and second sets. And in for Riverdale for the first time, number 4, Amelia Mudrick. Serve from Katie Rains. It's popped up by Riverdale. Number 11, Ellie Weiss, returned by the Braves. Saunders, Skolich. McPherson gets it across. Rains and a couple of Rains and Maller dive to the floor, nearly collide. Side out back to Riverdale, trailing 22-9. McCarthy comes in, replacing Ellie Weiss for the Mavericks. Number 10, Selena Hardy will serve. Center of the key, about a step in front of the basketball inline. Rain jump serve, it does not affect her. Rains picks it up. And Lovelady to Rains. Braves on the return. McPherson to Silva Corsi, gets it across. Rains chases it down near side. Evans sets up Saunders. Dug out by Hardy. To Silva Corsi. McPherson off the top of the net. Evans. Maller near side. Right into the near back corner. Nobody there for Riverdale. Side out back to the Braves. 23-9. And Morgan McCraw will come in for the first time, along with Madison Walker re-entering. Chesney Lovelady and Alex Saunders come out. Braves 2 points away from a set victory and improving to 5-2 and 7-4 overall. Serve is an ace. Pass to Silva Corsi for Morgan McCraw. And the freshman that doesn't play much on varsity is surprised that she came up with an ace that time. And now one more of those, and we have a match victory. And the serve is short. To Hardy, to McPherson, back to Hardy. Into the back row is long, and there's a three-set sweep of the Riverdale Mavericks. 25-14, 25-23, 25-9. The Banks Braves will hold on to at least a share of third place with a three-set sweep and improve to 5-2 in league play, 7-4 overall, depending on what happens with Warrenton tonight. Volleyball next week, football tomorrow night as Banks it has the week off due to the forfeit by Corbett. Our broadcast will be at Yamhill Carlton as the 9th-ranked Tigers host the 6th-ranked Warrenton Warriors, a big 3A District 1 matchup for football, as the winner of that game will stay alive in the, well, if Warrenton wins, it would create a tie for second with Warrenton and Yamhill Carlton each with one loss in league play. A win by the Tigers would put Warrenton at 2 losses and likely knock them out of any chance of a league title, and basically making it a 2-team race between Banks and Yamhill Carlton. But right now, it looks like the 3 teams midway through 3A District 1 football headed to the playoffs will be Banks, the top-ranked team in the state at the 3A level, along with number 6 Warrenton and number 9 Yamhill Carlton. Rainier, North Marion a little bit below the rest of the below the leaders, kind of right in the center of the pack, and then Corbett and Yamhill Carlton. Corbett really having a tough time being competitive this year. Has been outscored over 200-14 in their first 4 losses. Valley Catholic has not won a game in over 2 years, either league or overall, and last year with a new head coach. So our next broadcast again will be tomorrow night from Yamhill Carlton football field. We'll be live with the pregame at 6:30 for Yamhill Carlton and Warrenton. We hope to have you join us then for that broadcast. Until then, I'm Trevor Beard. Thanks for following tonight's broadcast between the Banks Braves and the Riverdale Mavericks. This has been Banks Braves Volleyball on Westside Mobile Media, built by Jason Bond.